Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope y'all are all doing well. Now, let me turn this echo off. I've got my headphones up so I can actually hear what's going on. I hope y'all are all doing well. We are live from New Orleans or New Orleans, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Give me 1 second. My screen is acting up here, and I need some more real estate so I can see what in the world is going on. Like I said, I hope y'all are all doing well. And for anybody who is asking, yes, we are using Prism Live to do all of our stuff today. So um, I hope y'all are all doing well. And I got to have multiple windows open here. I, I wanted to bring an extra monitor with me so that I can actually see. There's a TV to my side right here, but the cable isn't long enough. So hopefully we can get y'all's questions answered. So if y'all are, we try and come here every Friday to do a Q&A to try and answer your questions when it comes to media ministry, folks. I don't know everything, but hopefully the little bit I do know will help you get you closer on your journey and all this other fun stuff. So like I said, I am in the process of already packing, getting ready to head home here in a little bit. All my other folks that are here, they already went to their conference. So throughout the week, I've been sitting here chilling. This is the view from where I'm at here. Very, very, very nice and all this other stuff. Had a interesting storm this morning, and then it dried out. After this, we're gonna be heading out. Please let me know how the stream and everything is going and the audio and everything because I'm on the Wi-Fi. I should have brought my Starlink Mini, but I just didn't even think to bring all that stuff. So hopefully everything is well. I am limited to one screen, so doing a lot of screen sharing and all this other stuff is going to be kind of limited. What I can do, I don't have all the graphics like I normally do. All we got is Prism Live, the chat here. I got another window here that I can type into, and that is about it. Let you know some updates. I think I got a call from Dr. LeBoy. So we might be heading back to Chicago the end of this month. Be there for maybe a week, possibly 2 weeks. The last week of May going into um, the first week of June. Thinking about it. I'm waiting to have a meeting right after this to talk about that. I've got to move forward with some other stuff. They're still doing a lot of construction, fixing the roof and everything, but they kind of want to see about bringing me back to do some more wiring while walls and everything and scaffolding and all that other stuff is available. So just let you know. Yeah, it's out of sync. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is I would do the best that I possibly can with it. Um, but as long as it's not stuttering. So I should record this and edit it. So I don't know. I'm using Prism Live, so I have everything set and it has two GPUs in this laptop. I thought that would be it, but it could be I am using this. So let me actually change my audio and maybe that might help it a little bit. Give me 1 second to adjust that. All right, so I switched to the mic that's on my laptop, so hopefully that will work better for y'all. I don't know if it's still out of sync. My apologies for that, but hey, we are here to try and answer the best of y'all questions. Just let y'all know, we are getting close. I think we're under 70 days coming up for our e-missionary conference. There's still plenty of time for you to register online or in person. It's going to be July 18th and 19th from 8 a.m. until around 7 p.m., 6 p.m. on both days. We got a lot of stuff. If you go to 4meconference.com, we've updated the schedules and all that other stuff. So hopefully that would work for y'all. That information is there. Love to see you there in person or whichever way that you're able. So what I'm going to do is let me holler at some folks. I can't bring y'all up like I normally would because we're not doing vMix here, but shout at some folks here. Parker, hello. Phil Joe, hello. Renee, Castleberry, good morning. Anthony, what is going on? Aiden, hello, hello. Elder Rob, how are you doing, sir? Courtney, hello, hello. Creative for Fun, how are you doing? Darius, hello, hello. Quantum Leap, hello. Fresh Start Church of Philadelphia, good morning to you. Stephen, hello. Mr. Clarence, how are you doing? Reverend MJF, hello. Angela, hello. Eric, hello. Reverence Magazine, hello. Richard, hello. Bert, good morning to you all. So let's go ahead, and like I said, I am kind of, and this thing is making my ear itch. I'm doing the best I possibly can with this, folks. So make sure, please start your stuff off with a cue, so that way it's easy for me to see what is going on. I'm not getting any drop frames. I think it's just probably the way it's capturing the audio and stuff like that through my camera and stuff like that, because we got the Osmo action right here, and then we can always switch back to the webcam here. But let's see. Let's go through some of the questions that y'all got for me. Let's see what we can do to help y'all out. Aiden, and sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. My question is, I was trying to set an ATEM mini to this church. I was connecting to PTZ, 3 of them, and only 1 input worked. I tried connecting the others to input 1, and it worked fine. 2, 3, and 4 didn't. Well, now with the ATEM, normally input number 1 is YUV color science, or whatever the wording that it is. It's not RGB. And 2, 3, and 4 are. So depending on the type of camera that you got, he said the audio got louder. Let me turn it down just a little bit. Depending on your cameras, you might have to change how the color that's coming out over HDMI needs to be adjusted. What model and type of camera do you have? And maybe we can look into that. Let me know, and we can cycle back to see what we can do to help you out. And I need to put these side by side so I can read these easily. Come on now. There we go. And let's shrink this screen here. Like, I'm literally on a little end table here with how I got the stuff set up, so I don't have that much real estate. So I'd rather have my mouse, but my mouse is all the way over there, and I ain't have no place for it. Let's see. Like I said, Aiden, give me some more info and on the type of cameras, and then we can see about that. Why is this screen so big? So I was planning on doing doing some live stream reviews, but I just didn't get to it because I had some people reprimand me saying, AJ, you're supposed to be relaxing on vacation. I did do some other stuff, so we're possibly, when I get back home, I leave tomorrow, I'll be back home, and then Monday I still have another day, so I'm gonna do some follow-up. Been playing around with ChatGPT. If y'all saw, I did a proof of concept type of draft on a Pixar style animated movie on Joseph. I posted that. Let me know what y'all think about that, and I will be doing a deep dive on how we did that. Let's see the next question here. Stefan, sorry if I pronounced it there. Networking question. Is Ubiquiti the way to go? Looking at a router, a couple of switches, maybe 4 APs. How many APs would be normal for 2 floors? Well, it all depends on the type of AP. I personally like the Ubiquiti stuff because of the price and its functionality. They dropped a whole bunch of new stuff like 2 days ago, like an air horn and all this other stuff. But it all depends. When you're talking about for 2 floors, it depends on how big it is and what is the consistency of the walls and everything like that. So like some churches, you get yourself a U6 Pro or maybe even a U7 Pro, and that one would be good enough for everything. Hold on, let me lock this door real quick. One may be fine. So like if I'm in a sanctuary and it's wide open, one access point will cover that. But then, like, I was thinking about Bethlehem Baptist Church. I only did 2 access points in there because just the way the layout of it was, I put one that was in the back hallways, and then I put another one that's in the sanctuary, and that covered the entire building. Like at my house, I have one on every floor. It's overkill, but I did that just to test it out. I have an access point on each floor because of the walls and everything like that. It's kind of hard to have that signal go throughout the place. But again, it all depends on the types of walls, the layout, and everything like that. So if it was kind of wide open everywhere it is, I do it in zones. Where are most people going to be? Say there's an administration wing. I'll use Antioch. When I did all that stuff there, Antioch has one that's in the administration wing. We have two in the sanctuary because of how big it is. And then I have one in the multi-purpose room. I have one in the chapel. And then I have one in the back hallway. And that makes it cover everywhere where anybody's ever going to be. I don't need to cover it to where every single location is covered, because how often are people going to be congregating in the janitor's closet or something like that? So for me, yes, Ubiquiti has been my go-to. I don't use any of the other stuff just because the Ubiquiti line gives you so many more functions and features that you can use at a later time. Let's see, where do we leave off at? If I didn't say it, Eric, good morning to you. Angela, I want to get my 4 PTZ cameras to move on my new HuddleCam HD joystick controller via my 4-port switcher. I had a Famaco before, but it went out on Vaco, not daisy chained. Well, it all depends. If it's not daisy chained and it's Visca for the protocol, I think you might have emailed me if you did, because it sounds like a similar question that I got earlier. I think I was asking, you said it's not daisy chained. So if it was working with the Famaco, it's most likely, if you were using Visca, there had to be some way. So that's Visca over IP if it's not daisy chained, if it's going through a network switch. So whatever joystick you have, the HuddleCam HD should support that protocol, and then you just got to make sure that they tap into each other. Okay, so yeah, you were the one I was talking about, and I think that was the question. So going through the HuddleCam, normally you got to make sure that you pick the right protocol. So that would be Visca over IP, or depending on how the age of the HuddleCam that you have, it might say Visca Sony. But then the other thing you have to do is make sure that the port number that it's sending those commands on is the same on all the cameras and the joystick. So off the top of my head, I think TCP port is 1259 and UDP is 5678. So you got to make sure those ports are the same. If you log into the camera's webpage and you go under networking and ports, you need to verify that. And then technically, if it worked with the other joystick and this joystick supports the same protocols, you just got to make sure the ports are right, and then it should just work. But like I said, when I get back, we can talk about that. Okay, you said it worked with Famaco and it wasn't IP. Well, most likely then you weren't using Visca, because the Famaco ones tend to lean towards on VIF to communicate with each other. And the Famaco ones typically use port 2000 for the on VIF. So I believe the HuddleCam does support that as well too. Try and change the protocol to on VIF and see if that works, because it kind of works the same way. On VIF is sent over the network, but typically all those cameras do send all those protocols the same way, and that should work. And I have no idea why my chat is playing everything twice, just showing up on the screen. Let me see. Why is it doubling up? That's strange. I don't know. But let me know, and we can circle back to that as well too. Let's see. Only one camera port moves, but when I plug it in directly, I still have it. Only one camera port moves. So if it only moves, that... Because normally when you have any cameras, they have to have a different camera ID, so that way they differentiate themselves from each camera. Whether that's daisy chained or the IP address kind of acts the same way. And even in OnVIF, it does that. It looks at an IP address for the camera. Because if you're not using RS-232, it has to use some type of network to communicate with each other. Can you verify that all the cameras actually have a different IP address, and if they are, what that is? And then we can see. And again, I can remote into my computer at home, but then it's like a pain to try and get through a lot of the stuff here. But we'll see what we can do to help you out. Reverence Magazine was saying, I have a PTZ setup that freezes. What do you mean by freezes? As in the whole camera freezes, it doesn't move, freeze, the video freezes? You need a little bit more description. Because, it could almost be anything. You need a little bit more description to help with that. Fred Lee Photography, hey, good morning to you. Mike, hello. Birds. Installing a Blackmagic Decklink Quad 2 computer does not display ports available, but when I try to run it through the switcher bay, they show up, but does not connect. All right, so inside of the Blackmagic Decklink Quad, one of the other things you have to make sure, and I actually just upgraded my computer at home with the one that has a output and an input. I was going to do a video about it, but I didn't think it was that interesting. But inside the setup, if you have a quad, you have to go into the setup and make sure they actually, by default, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, or something in that order, they're linked automatically. So you need to go into the setup and make sure that all of them are set to SDI 1, 2, 3, 4 only, and they're not bridged to a different jack. That's the first thing you need to do. Then it should see all 4 of them. And then what program are you using? Because if that quad can be an input or output, and they can be linked. If they're not set up, it will show as if only 2 of them are working. And then what program are you using to actually output information? And we can go from there as well too. Yeah, and Rob, yeah, exactly. If it's brick, honestly, I think brick is a bonus, but like if the sanctuary is all brick, then I know, okay, one access point should be able to cover that because all the frequencies are going to bounce off the wall and keep everything there. So that could be one thing. Let's see. Javin Keys, I don't understand your question. How to make Windows to Mac OS free? I don't understand that question. Brian Jones, hello. Doesn't have Ethernet. The Huddle Cam doesn't have an Ethernet jack. Yeah, I think, honestly, if you do have that Huddle Cam, then there's no way it's going to bridge. Wait a minute, so you said it was just RS-232. Okay, well then if only one moves, then you need to go back through the cameras. Well, wait, that doesn't make sense. If you had an RS-232 and it was working on all of them, but the cameras that you sent me had an RS-232 input, but it didn't have an output so they can be daisy chained, how are all of them connected? If you wanted it to go through a switcher, if you're talking about video switcher or network switch, you're not going to be able to do a network switch if the camera doesn't have Ethernet. So some of the cameras, I think like the Tenveos and other things like that, they're not really meant for a multi-camera setup unless they're the last one. I think like Creative for Fun, when I was up there at Bristol, they had one of the same cameras, and that camera will work, but it has to be the last one in the chain. Because if it doesn't have an output, it's really meant for one joystick to go directly to one camera, and that's it. It doesn't have any more other functionality with that. If you have other cameras that do have a daisy chain in and out on RS-232 and they daisy chain to each other, that will work, and as long as it's the last one in the link, then it will work. And then in that daisy chain, each camera has to have an address. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, so that when you press a button on the joystick, it'll know in this link, send the commands to camera 1 or send the commands to camera 4, things like that. If there's no bridging and no way if there's no Ethernet, if there's only one cable that goes from the joystick directly to one camera and there's not multiple ways to link them together, I don't know how that was working. To be quite honest, it doesn't. I can't wrap my mind around how that could possibly work. I mean, if you said it worked, I'm not doubting you. I don't understand how that could work. But if you could send me pictures of what you originally had in the setup, and then maybe I can see about that. All right, Reverence Magazine was saying, back to your question, you said the video freezes. Now, how is everything set up? So when you're getting the video from your camera, where is it going? Is it connected over like a HDMI, SDI, into your computer, into a capture card or something? Because we got to isolate, where is it freezing? Is it freezing in the camera? Is it freezing that if it's going into a capture card and the camera's not freezing, but the computer is slow and that's why it's freezing? Is the freezing relegated to the computer that you're using, the capture device that you're using? Or if you're not doing that at all and you're sending the video from the camera over the network, it could be that your network is too slow or the settings on the camera are too fast. So you need a little bit more detail on how you have that set up, and then we can go from there. Hey, Larry, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Edward, good morning to you as well, too. Rosalind, hey. Rosalind, hey, I said I was going to be here. So, like I said, we got ourselves a nice little flow of everything here. And yes, I'm on vacation, but it's like I was telling some of my friends, I was like, I had to force myself to not do something because, one thing that we never get back is time. And yes, I need to relax and stuff like that. But for me, I'm like, I want to make every moment that I have as best as possible. And it's an investment in everything that I do. So yes, I'm relaxing, and yes, I need to make sure my health is straight. And I mean, we've been eating good, I've been walking all over the place and things like that. So that's good. But then, I've had time where my book at? Had a lot of journal writing time, some prayer time and stuff like that. And, I miss y'all. This is what I do. So I want to make sure that when I'm gone, that I have made an impact. I want the place to be better than better when I'm gone. And whether that is for me to help somebody else with their PTZ or help them reach some more or understand something else, that's where I'm at right now. So yes. Now, and then also when I get on my cruise, when I take my daughter on her cruise next month, we ain't going to be doing nothing. Because, I got my daughter. She's going to be excited. So I ain't going to have much time to just sit and do what I want to do. It's going to be a glorified tour guide for my daughter on there. But I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all taking some time here. And if y'all are willing to invest y'all time to watch me, I want to make it worth y'all's while as well, too. All right, so Reference Magazine, you said the video is fine for about 3 minutes and then it freezes. But where does it freeze? Is it freezing at the camera or is it freezing on the computer? And when you say you reboot, what are you rebooting? Are you rebooting the camera or are you rebooting the computer? Because it could be that the computer is just not fast enough. That could be that. Bert, you're saying that it is in Pro Presenter. So yeah, if you make those settings, and eight ports, I think the bigger one is the same setting. You got to make sure that's there. They're set to do outputs in the the desktop video setup. Then the other ones will show up. Now I think if you actually, let me take that back. If you have the 8 output, yeah, if it's 8 outputs, it should be 8. So I think it might be a setting in there that they're linking some channels together. I would verify that. BDJ Sky, hi AJ, can you do a video on the Behringer wing? Well, if I get access to one. Most of the time, the equipment, big stuff like that, I'll do a review if a client wants to do something like that. I haven't had one. I did want to get the new Behringer wing rack mount and have that at home. But, the funds weren't there. A lot of the funds that we're doing right now are going to supplement this conference. But I will see what I can do. Rosalind, tell the girls I said hello, hello. And Rosalind, we were actually going to plan on coming up there. But that was going to be tight because we leave the very next day on our cruise. So might not going to be able to do that. We want to surprise y'all and be in person, but not going to be able to do it this time around. Sorry. So I can pick up the girls so they can see their Uncle AJ. All right, so Angela was saying you ran multiple lines, have 4 cameras, ran 4 RS-232s to my ATEM. I've never used the camera commands. I just flip my switcher. So wait a minute. So if you ran 4 lines to each one, the RS-232 doesn't connect to the ATEM. RS-232 is more like a 2 to 4 pin like green connection. So maybe it's a terminology that I have misunderstood in how you have it there, because RS-232 doesn't connect directly to the ATEM. So if you can email me and send me pictures of that so I can get a baseline of so make sure we're on the same page. Creative for Fun, could you suggest a brand of coax cable for a coax cable to Ethernet? All right, so you're trying to do a bridge from like a coax to Ethernet extender? I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're asking. Rabbi, currently, what's the best version of ProPresenter to use with all the... Honestly, ProPresenter is still crashing. I try not to upgrade. I mean, granted, I have it at home, so I'm not running a church. I do the $29, $50, whatever, monthly to use it. Recently, it hasn't been crashing for me. But again, that's why I play around with my stuff first, and then we'll see. But the most recent one, I don't have it on this computer at home. Here with me, my laptop, but the one at home, I haven't had any issues. And see, even here, you hear ambulances and police. Like in my house, I live right across the street, near a fire station, so that stuff is always going off. Let me see, did I skip something? Yes, I did. Hold on. That stuff jumped on me. Today I physically met with one of us from the Facebook group. Sweet. IT and media people never rest. No, never. We had a wonderful time, and yes, I believe I've got a fellow laborer on board. That's cool. Techie Terra, hello, hello. A commercial popped up in the middle of your response. Oh, we love you too. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's why I honestly suggest if you're using your stuff, go ahead and have your church invest and get YouTube Premium. That way, if you have to play anything or any music or something like that in-house, not streamed, you don't have to hit any commercials. I think I tried out YouTube Premium for like a month, and then I ain't never going back to get ads and stuff like that. And I got the family plan, so when my daughter has an account up under me, she doesn't have to see the ads either. Well, I think Rosalind, what I think we were going to do, she has some event that's going to be there, so it was going to be tight to get up there, then get back, and then get her up in the morning to get on the airplane and fly down. So we'll see. No promises yet, but I'm going to see what we can do. Pin player, good morning, bro. What is the minimum fiber internet speed for live streaming for a church? You need at least 15 megabits upload speed. That's bare minimum. That's literally exactly what this Wi-Fi is that I have here. So that's why I'm streaming at 30 frames a second instead of 60 to try and cut it in half. But yeah, as long as you have at least 15 megabits per second, you should be good. Anything lower than that, you're tempting fate. Okay, so Reverend's saying you're rebooting the camera. So how is the camera connected to your stuff? Is it over an HDMI cable, SDI cable, or is it over the network? Let me know that. Oh, wait a minute, I missed what you said. See, I normally have my screen here so I can see everything, and the text is super small. So let me see if I can bump this text up a little bit so I can see it a little bit gooder. Oh, that's too big. The camera to network to OBS, that would be the problem. I think your camera is probably set up too high, or camera to network to OBS. And it was fine until I turned my BE9600 router to access point. My OBS setting tested my bandwidth, and it was the highest setting. It just started doing this. What I would do is see how much is it pulling, because it sounds like it might not be that your camera is freezing, it's just that your network doesn't have the bandwidth to support what your camera is doing. Just like here, I had to change my settings so that I'm live streaming so that I'm not hitting any issues. So like my computer has no problem. I'm at 2% running this thing right now. It's the internet is my limitation, so I had to change it for that. So once you turn that on, I would look and see how much data is your camera sending over the network. Try and drop it down by half, and that's in the camera setting. It's bit rate. If it's 5,000, drop it down to 2,500, and just see if you have the same thing, because it sounds like not necessarily the camera is the problem. Just based off what you said, it sounds like it might be the network. Let's see. And folks, I don't have it to do. I don't have the pedal to bring this up. But if you like what we're doing here, I greatly appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that like button and hit the subscribe. If you're like, how come I can't leave anything? This is a subscriber-only live stream that gets all the bots and all the stuff out of the way. But I really appreciate that, and thank you very much. I agree. The only time that you could relax is on a cruise. Well, yeah, if I was by myself, but this one is going to be an adventure with my baby. Gracias is saying thoughts on praying for equipment. Honestly, I'm not laughing with you, because I mean that's what happened. I prayed for when I went through my divorce and I was living with my sister. I mean, I had my car got repossessed because I had lost my job, all this other stuff. And I had people on here. If you go back to my early podcasts that I did on here, before the media booth, the one before that, I was talking about how I was praying to God about, a car, and I had somebody tell me that you can't pray to God about that. I mean, that's a lie, because it says to bring God into every single situation that you have. And then when I prayed about that, it took a while, but I mean, I went from sleeping on an air mattress at my sister's house to getting an apartment with no job, didn't get qualified, was able to get into that. Then I was able to, YouTube picked up to where I was able to pay off every single debt that I owed. The car that got repossessed, I was able to pay off the balance that I was owed. I was able to get another car through Carvana, almost paid that car off. Then I was blessed to be able to buy the newer model of the car that was repossessed, able to pay for that, and then worked, and then bought my dream, traded that car in, was able to buy the dream car of my Model Y, and then was able to move from a 1-bedroom apartment to a 2-bedroom apartment, then to a 3-bedroom apartment, and then to a 3-bedroom townhouse. And that was asking, like, I wasn't asking for that stuff just so I can flex. It was like, God, if you want me to help all these people, I can't help when, like, I'm at my sister's house and I can only do videos at 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't do that. Or I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment and I had 3 Amazon trucks dropping off $20 to $30 to $40,000 worth of equipment. That was dangerous, And then, like, my apartment went into a warehouse. So no, yes, pray for God for the stuff that you need. Pray for when you need some help. Like, shoot, I'm praying for. I mean, Rosalind and Francisco and them know, man. I'm praying for the wife. I'm looking for a helpmeet who wants to follow the same stuff that I'm doing and have the same passion and the mission to be able to do. Because, like, doing all this other stuff solo is hard. So, hey, maybe I gave you too much, but I mean that's just where I is. Hey, Elder Rob, I completely agree with your statement. That's when I'll rest. 4 dB, not the switcher. Yeah, I don't think that would. Yeah, work on that. I don't know. I have to see that to understand that. Let's see. Where do we leave off at? This jumps on me. How's that? All right. Katie, photo and film. Good morning. Current day. What might be your favorite switcher and streamer for beginners? It's still the ATEM and Extreme, to be quite honest. Yes, I do have other ones. I wish I would have brought my AV cans, the smaller one, to stream with, but there's no Ethernet jack in here. I normally take my portable router with me and go through my VPN, going back to my Unify stuff, but there's no jack in here. They move everything to Wi-Fi, so I don't like that, but I would probably have preferred that. And that's still my go-to because it makes it really easy for that. Nah, hey, look, I get rest. I get some good sleep in, but I personally like being productive. Creative for fun. You said your coax to Ethernet. So let me see if I can do this because I did set the scene up. So let's see. There's a new thing from Ubiquity that I wanted to play. Let me see if I can do this, and it's not capturing. Yeah, there it is. It is capturing my window. My issue is I can't see the screen. I can't see Prism Live to see where I'm at. But they have this extension that may work. Now, again, I don't know what you have connected to it, but that where you can run a regular coax and then it'll send PoE over that. But I mean, what are you trying to connect? This would work. I don't think this will work if you're trying to send video. But again, I haven't tested it. If it's just sending some stuff, I'm wondering how that will work. But that would be an example. That's the Ubiquity PoE over 2 wire retrofitted, and they do have another one that does 4. So it has an extension where you can do um, SDI on here, or it has another end that you can connect um, with some other connections like bare wires that you could do that as well too. So that might be an option for you. All right, let me get back to my screen. This is why I need multiple screens so I can see everything that's going on. Back to G Falcone. Hi AJ, any idea on how to adjust the motion on a PTZ Optics Move SC? Right now it seems robotic and it moved too fast. I feel like I have tried everything. Have you turned down the overall speed of the zoom and the movement, and has that affected it? So you said the sound was so much better. I mean, I'm just using the mic that's here on the computer screen. I mean, like I said, this my whole setup right here. I had my DJI mic, that's what I was using. I had my Google earbuds, but it was causing some issues. But I'm glad it's sounding better. Let's see. But that's what I would think about with the move. I do have one at home. We can look into that when we get home. Um, let's see. So back to Reference Magazine, that's what I would think. Go ahead and play with your settings on how much data is being sent from the camera over the network and see if that improves it. Richard, when I switched the video and Zoom stream to Blackmagic, it was streaming well. Maybe I missed something. Oh, I missed one of your first comment. We streamed to Zoom using OBS virtual camera, but last week the feed froze. When I switched the video in the Zoom stream to Blackmagic, it was streaming well. Not exactly sure. I mean, I know Zoom has been doing a whole bunch of updates, and sometimes that stuff gets jacked up in there. And then, what version of OBS are you in? It should be 31.03 is the latest I saw. Elder Rob, to all fighting with your church about spending money, I just proved my point at my church and had them replace the streaming computer with a Mac, and now the video is beautiful. Boo! Boo for the Mac. Let me stop. Elder Rob was saying, have you checked with Free Show? It's a free. Yeah, everybody keeps telling me about it, and I just haven't had a chance to actually mess with it. I saved the bookmark and download it, but I just haven't had time to sit down and actually just play with it. Dale Turi, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. See, I'm missing y'all's comments, so it's not on purpose. So I see y'all have it on the screen right here. I'm not looking at that. I have another window that's popped out so I can go back and forth and look here. It says, thanks for all you do. Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad to help. How do you connect ProPresenter computer to ATEM using NDI? You can't. You can't connect NDI to ATEM. That is a proprietary, that's made actually by their competition. So there is no NDI support. If you want to do it, what you need to do is maybe stream NDI to another computer and have the computer physically connected to the ATEM and then run the studio monitor. I've done it that way before. Like back in the day at Antioch when they didn't want cabling and stuff like that, I had a computer that was connected to the multi-purpose TV. I had studio monitor up, and we sent OBS, NDI same way. It sent that NDI feed over the network, and that's how we were able to bridge it there. That's how you would need to do something like that. Yeah, Angela, I would have to see it. I don't think... I mean, that would work in theory if it's a switcher like that where you're pressing a button and it jumps. It just seems... It might be just the huddle cam is expecting like a pure link. But again, I need to look at that and research it because I don't know off the top of my head that. Tekatera, we finally got ProPresenter in the house and want to set up stage screens for our pastor. Do you have any videos that can step us through? Yes, I do. I have one that talks about multiple outputs and stuff like that. That would give you the gist of that. That would help out. Where I talk about having multiple outputs at the same time. I think that would help as well too. And then when I do the refresher on the Bible trivia that I do, it will talk about that as well too. Yeah, exactly, Elder Rob. How do I find out my pull on a Famako? Are you talking about the data? I mean, you could put it, it depends on the router you have. Sometimes the router would tell you how much traffic is being sent. But mainly for the camera, it's like you have to go in there and it will look at the settings for you, like that. And so prayer works. I pray on connecting my streaming equipment all the time, which is why I was able to hook up all my streaming myself, and God showed me. Well, hey, thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Philip Paul, hey AJ, can I do an event on Facebook account, but will be streaming from Restream? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Now, one thing you're talking about your sound, I didn't notice. Like, I have my regular account on YouTube, and then I have this one. My overall one is, all the accounts that I have are under YouTube Premium. Now, I noticed a difference that when I logged into the TV here in the hotel, and I went to YouTube and I didn't log into my account and I was watching a video, it sounded shallow. But then when I logged into my account, I don't know if the premium is also giving you, I know it does give you different bit rates and quality, but it looks like it's doing that, with sound as well too. So very interesting. Tori Smith, good morning. Happy Friday. Do you recommend an EQ setting for live streaming audio? I'm noticing it has a lot of high end. Well, yeah, that's why somebody needs to EQ and focus on the live stream separately. That's why I don't do matrices. I have somebody specifically listening for the live stream, because when you're listening to the live stream, like y'all are listening to me right now, y'all have headphones, you got a computer, you don't have the bodies in the church, the carpet and all this other stuff to absorb sound. So yes, it needs to be EQ'd separately. You don't have to do it, but if you want a better experience for everybody that's watching and listening, yeah, you should have a different level of EQ for different zones to accommodate for that stuff. And I know everybody doesn't have that, but when you're able to, yes, I personally recommend that, because it just makes it sound better. Because Sister Susie might be sounding real good in the sanctuary because it's bouncing off the walls and you get an echo. And when you hear her clearly, she sounds like hot trash. So you need to turn her mic down just on the live stream, because you ain't got all that reverb and just hiding that bad sound. Angela, I actually have 4 of those portable monitors. I just didn't want to take anything else with me. I got one bag and I got a book bag, and my book bag was extra heavy. But yeah, I got 4 of those portable monitors at home. I just didn't want to, I didn't want to bring it with me, because I was going to bring my drone. I'm glad I did not, because it ain't much places for me to go here since I'm in the heart of New Orleans. So I didn't want to do that. I could have walked down to the water and flew it over there, but I just didn't want to bring more stuff with me. Like, this is the first time I've actually used this camera. I didn't take this out in the streets and walk. I just used my phone. But I do have that stuff. I got way more gear than I think I need to. Inreal, hello. Haven't seen you in a minute. Networking, how can a specific IP address be assigned to the live streaming and media department? Well, it all depends on the type of stuff that you have. So, like, depending on your router, most routers will allow you to set up a static license, whether it be locked to that MAC address. So, like for me at home, or when I set up stuff, I go into the Unify stuff, or again, I was doing this on my Netgear stuff and TP-Link, and back in the day, it does the same thing. You would go into the table assignment, and most of the time it says, hey, give me assign this device by MAC address or whatever to always get this IP address. And that's really all it is. Or you go in, get the MAC address from whatever piece of equipment that you have, assign it, and then give it an IP address. Either one. And again, I like the interfaces where you just check it off and it just does that. So that could work as well too. So as a tutorial, when I go through the setup of the Unify stuff, I go over that a lot. When I get home, I am planning on doing a networking tour, because so many people ask me, how do I have my network set up at the townhouse that I'm renting? So I will do that when I get home. Springtrap, hello. Balaji, sorry if Balaji. I don't know if you're pronouncing that. I had a manager that was called Balaji, what was the name? New here. We are just starting media in our church. We've got 2 PCs, a sound card, but no video switcher yet. How can we best connect things together to get video and lyrics in-house in the stream? Well, it all depends on what you're trying to do. If, like right now, I don't have a video switcher. I'm using a software switcher. I did have a video that shows how to do everything through NDI, and right across the street from me, this guy has his window open. He just walked with no shirt on. I'm not going to turn the camera around because I just looked up and I was like, I didn't want to see that. But I have a video that talks about how you can do everything without a video switcher using OBS, Prism Live. At the time, it was OBS, but the concept is the same. You, if you're going to use NDI, make sure your network is stable. If you can, put it on all of them on a network switch with an Ethernet cable to connect it. You could have screen, and there the dude walked up again. He's like has his laptop on the window like I am, but he has no shirt on. Standing there, I almost want to turn it around because I'm laughing. I would close the curtain, but then all the light, like I said, I needed to have this backlight on me. But you would have the NDI plug-in, and we did a bunch of stuff like the HDMI dummy plugs. We would do that. That can capture. You would run NDI screen capture that will capture every single screen on your computer and send it over the network. So if I had two monitors, it would send monitor 1, monitor 2 on the network. The other computer that's running your streaming software would capture that NDI feed, and then depending on the other computer, if you're using OBS, you can connect that second computer to your projectors, your televisions, or whatever, and then it would output that. So like in my same setup, if the cable was long enough, the cable that you see hanging down from there, if it was long enough, I would connect it to my computer here, and then I would have Prism Live output to this. So that's the same setup that you would do at church. So very simple in explaining, but I don't have enough to demonstrate it right now. But I mean, that's how that would work. Narelle saying live stream audience shares with us when streaming on their smart TVs, volume extremely low. Would you have thoughts on this? Well, yeah, my mindset is when I do a separate mix like we were talking about before, I adjust and set everything at 50% and I refuse to move it. I set YouTube to be at 50. I set my computer to be at 50. I set my TV to be at 50. Whatever I do, and I mix with the whole goal that no one ever has to touch the volume on their device. So if it's comfortable for me and at 50% in a majority, then if you got one-off people that need to turn it up, then they can turn their stuff up. But I want it to be balanced as best as possible. And I know I've kind of struggled with that even on my personal YouTube videos, but I think I've got a good balance because most people used to tell me, hey, I had to turn my stuff all the way up just to hear you. And I think, especially with the presets on DaVinci Resolve, it's kind of solved that. If I'm still having an audio issue, no one has ever told me, because normally after I upload everything, I have my stuff at 50 everywhere, and I play it back before I publish it to y'all, and it sounds fine to me. If not, y'all need to let me know. But that's what I do, and that's the same way I do it. So I'll say I'm fixing a live stream. I'll have my phone watching the live stream at 50%. I'm adjusting it with headphones in the house, and it sounds fine to me, and then I verify it when it comes to my phone. I go from there. Ty, hey, good morning to you as well. Streets of Destiny, hello, hello. And I think I got so many folks so far. So like I said, I mean it's 9:44 where for me right now. So I'm just trying to be mindful of the time because like I said, I have a meeting with First United Methodist around like 11:30. So I got plenty of time as well too. So let me I'm gonna do this as a formal video, but I don't know if y'all had a chance to see some of the stuff that we did with Chat GPT, and this stuff is getting crazy, folks. So Rosalind, you were asking, so I'm gonna see if I can. So let's cut over to the screen, and I'm gonna show y'all what we did. So I believe this is still available in the free version. Well, I went to this camera. So what I did was this. I'm gonna see if I can do a quick example of this. I'll say, uh, write a uh, short video script for Moses and no, for the story from the Bible where Peter walked on water. And the Bible. Well, I already had the Bible in there. So I'd have this script. It would generate this. It gives me the scenes. It gives me the narrator. So that's what I'm using for my voiceovers. And then now that it wrote that out, I was like, list all the characters. I'm not spelling it. Characters. List all the characters with time accurate descriptions of them physically. Also accurate to the location where they were living at the time of the story, because they weren't white, they weren't black, they were in the sun, so they had a little shade to them. So I just wanted to be. Wait a minute, you had Jesus at 5'5". Wow. All right. So we did some stuff like this, right? So I'm gonna take the same thing and I said, now create wide image of Jesus in a Pixar style. So I take this and I'm gonna see how they did this. This is the same way I did Joseph's story. So it's gonna give me two examples. So let's see how that works. John, hey, good morning to you. Roy, hello, hello. Roy, while this is coming up, what is your take between hardware and web-based versus software streaming? I personally like, I think software is best because it's the most flexible, because you can put whatever hardware that you want to generate what you need. Hardware makes it easy. Web-based, it's outside of your control. So that would be my personal opinion. So while it's generating this, and I'm sorry for, if Jesus was in that area of the world with that much sun, nah, he'd be a little bit darker. But whatever. I'm not getting into that debate right there. So we'd have an example of this, and then I would say, well, honestly, they look exactly the same. I'm gonna go with this one over here, and then I'm gonna say, um, break down story into 10 scenes. So I let that generate. And then when it has that, I would say create wide. Well, how describe how you would make an image for scene one. So it's going to give me a prompt. I want to see what it's thinking on how it would generate that. All right. So it's giving me this. And I'm going to now, to make consistent images, what we're going to do is we're going to download this and we're going to give it its reference to itself so that we know it can do the same thing. So I'm going to say create wide image of scene one. And then we're going to upload the image that we just downloaded. Then we upload that. So it's going to take the example of what it said, and I didn't even read what it said. So while it's doing that, it said, how would it make the scene? Okay, it's going to be 16 by 9, a wide. It doesn't ChatGPT doesn't understand the aspect ratio of 16:9, but we're just going to use it this way. And if you needed it wider, that's when we use Photoshop. And then it says the setting is the shoreline of the Sea of Galilee at sunset. The sky is painted with gold and soft pinks and deep purples. Jesus stands on the foreground left facing the boat. Disciples are on here. Art style Pixar inspired. So that's describing everything, and we're giving it a reference. So now it's starting to shape out everything. And I keep looking at this camera, but this is the camera I actually need to be looking at. So let it produce itself out. See, El Rob, yeah, I've been playing around with Kling. Kling would take this and then have it. John, have I reviewed the 4K? Yes, I have. I actually have a 4K one at home that I use. That's my left facing camera when I do that. So I'm gonna play around with both of these just to show you some of the stuff that we're doing. So when this finished getting produced, now I can't use Kling because I've already used up all my credits. But say we got this image, right? And I'll download this, and you don't have to use all the stuff, but again, I'm just letting you know the things that I have. And if Photoshop wants to open, and I might not want to tempt fate with this because Photoshop uses up a whole lot of memory. But anyway, so I would take this, and then if I go to Kling AI, I thought it would have me logged in. Yeah, it's so in other words, I would upload this image here and then give it a description on how I want it to be animated, and that's how it produced. So I'm not going to do this because I think I might be pushing the limits of what it can do. So let me see. Let me go. Well, I mean, I showed the video of what I did, and let me see. Let me change this so I can do a screen display capture instead. So what we're going to do is show video. So I did the same thing with Joseph. So that's the same way I picked up the image, and I think Brandon was messing with me when I did the one with Potiphar, and so that's the same type of scenario that I did, and he just blew it out, and then the image was too small, so I put it in Photoshop, and then it generated, used AI to generate and fill out the image to make it bigger than it was. So really looking forward to playing. Around with some stuff. Maybe that'll give y'all some ideas on just imagine using this stuff to have, say your pastor has a sermon series and you can have Chat GPT to make a story to turn that into like a short film as a bumper for whatever your sermon is, or use it as a follow-up as a for different content, like I'm teaching at the conference on your television network on how to make other content, and just imagine you have an animated version of the sermon or different Bible stories or whatever. Now I'm using the Pixar one, but they have tons of different examples of different art styles that you can use to create some stuff, but I think it's kind of cool just how many other things you can do. Yeah, I mean, so if they have are you talking about, back to y'all's question, you were asking about the 4K. Are you talking about the 4K one that's available on Amazon that's going for like $400? I've been meaning to do that one, but then any extra got taken up with other stuff that we had to do with projects. So if we have some extras, I might see about doing that. So Brian, you said the 16:9 worked. When I did that originally, it didn't work for me. So I did wide and then I blow it up, but I'll play around with that next time around. Yeah, so Rob said using it for children's ministry. That's the whole thing. Yes, we talk about cameras, we talk about video switches, we all that, but ultimately, what is the point? The point of all of this, all the new tech, is just like Elder Rob, I'm stealing your title from last time. On the other side, cast your nets on the other side. Like, we got to use these tools to do something else, not just the kind of lecture mentality, a setup of church. You can minister to so many different ways using different mediums. And just because we got a new medium, say we got the holodeck technology that's coming out, say that we got that to where you can actually be in the exact situation. Why would you use the holodeck that can emulate anything? And all you would do is emulate the church service that somebody standing on the pulpit. That's what I'm saying. We got to expand our creativity on what we can do. Because I remember growing up, the cartoons, what I used to watch was Superbook and the Flying House, where it talked about Bible stories, or a flying house where they went back in time and they were during the times where all these things were happening in the Bible. I remember doing that. They ain't got nothing like that. The new Superbook and all them, they look like hot trash. But, I mean, just think about different ways. You said I saw one on Amazon. I didn't know they had one that was that. So let me see if I can find the one that I was talking about. To my screen here. Let me turn off the display. Let's go back to the window. And monk of 4K PTZ. Yeah, there it is. That's the one I was looking at. It was going like for $450 that I wanted to play around with. This is the one that I actually did a review on, and this is the one that I have at home. And that's the one that you see when you see me do this originally. And I have the camera that's looking at the on air and it pans over. That is this camera. That's the one. And I did do a review on this. But this is the one I wanted to play around with. That it was a 4K at $450. I wanted to see how good that is. You see, it's previously viewed, and I wanted to get one. And I might play around with that when we have some extra to play around with. But really cool. Just the fact that there's so many different options that are out there. So that's the next one I plan to review when some other stuff is freed up for us to play around with. Let me see, where do we leave off at? Brian was saying, also encounter issues with clean AI blocking certain spiritual statements such as, may God bless you, using lip sync. Reached out for them support. Wow, that's strange. I haven't seen that. Our PBS is getting ready to get cut. Yeah, and that's why we need to step up our game and replace. I ain't getting political. I'm just saying in general. The stuff, when it comes from a spiritual aspect, is being cut out. I think we're being trained in all of the technology that we do because it's time for us to step up and fill in the gap. I remember just the bill on Capitol Hill. Yep. Angela, I love that concept since AI makes it easier, faster, more efficient. Not all churches have children's church, so this is a great idea. Exactly. Just think about it. Like, all right, let me get my soapbox. See, what I think personally is so many people are trying to be so flashy and fancy with church stuff. And I'm guilty of this as well too. I get so flashy and fancy with all this live streaming stuff that I need to make sure I go back to the basics, because when you forge forward, assuming that everybody knows what you're talking about, you leave people out behind. So why do I say that? There's a lot of people that you think that are older saints that are in your church, that some of the basic stories, they don't know nothing about the Bible. And I think a good reference is to have short stories of examples, visual representations of what things are being done in the Bible. Like, have the story of when the serpent talked to Eve, Cain and Abel, Lot's wife. I saw somebody did a funny video about Lot's wife. Like, dude came in and said, man, Lot, man, this food was, Lot came in and said, man, thank you, nephew, for cooking this food for me. That thing was great, man. He was like, man, the seasoning was outstanding. What did you use? Man, I used some of that big vase of salt that you had. He was like, the vase of salt? The one that says don't touch? Well, I just thought that you just used that. I mean, I just wanted to make it special. It was like, man, that was my wife. You done used my wife pillar of salt to flavor this food. But no, I mean, anyway, I just think that we have to, with all the stuff that we're doing, Don't limit yourself just to doing a new live stream or making your live stream more stable. That's what my topic is talking about, is your church has a television network. What else can you do? Highlight reels, podcast, food review. Like I told y'all before, and I'm surprised nobody's stolen this idea yet, because it's open for people to steal. Like, what about doing a Bible study, food of the Bible? Having your best cooks to come in and look at the ingredients that they say what manna is and give their interpretation of it. Because people love cooking shows, but then you do the education of it. Like, what food was so good that it tricked somebody to give up their birthright? All that stuff like that. There's so much more that we can teach from a Bible standpoint, but we're going for the low hanging fruit. And it's like no one else is doing it, so why should I do it? My mindset is, if nobody else is doing it, then why don't you do it? Stop trying to fit in with the crowd and do what everybody else is doing. Try to do something new, because that's what raises the tide. When somebody tries something, it shows, hey, it's viable, and then that helps with other people's creativity for them to try other stuff and go on. Let's see. I have that specific from Uncle Yashar. Cool. I already use it for our children's ministry. The kids are so amazed when they make their own stories of God using them in everyday life. So, see, that's the thing. Like, instead of just keeping everything back in biblical times, take the same lessons that are lifelong lessons and put them in scenarios that people can relate with more. For example, you're talking about the widow's mite, and I'm just going to pick some people. It's not, I'm just thinking of these people off the top of my head. It's like, what does it matter that Jeff Bezos gives $1 billion away, but then wants attention? I'm making this up, but wants attention and announces it to the world, to where the news and everybody covers what he's doing. But you got Sister Susie over here, and she's doing the best that she can. She don't have any money, but she volunteers at the soup kitchen. That's an example of, you're criticizing her, but she gave her best. Somebody who has a lot that just wants attention, when they give it out, it's not the same. Like, giving examples of that, you know. Hey, John, you are welcome. Just trying to give some examples of it. So, I think that's what it is. So, again, I really, really, really hope y'all come out and attend the 4ME Conference 2025. It's going to be available online as well as in person. We got some other stuff. I'm planning some food. We got to change that up, because if you're going to go, let me be the bad teacher right now. I normally don't do stuff like this. If you are planning on coming in person and you have not got your ticket, please buy your daggone ticket. The reason I say that is, it makes it hard for me to do catering when I have no idea. I'm not gonna. It's wisdom for me not just to buy a whole bunch of food and then we have way fewer people than that, or I buy food and almost a whole ton of people just show up the day of, and now I can't teach my class because I got to go buy food to compensate for the people that didn't register. That's all I'm saying. I want this to be a good experience for all of y'all, and I don't want people to have to run around trying to cook last minute, buy food last minute, or if you want to teach, try and get, shoehorn somebody in to teach. I want this to be a good experience for everybody to learn out of it, whether it be food, fellowship, and all that other stuff. The conference, Angela, is a media ministry conference. We got a bunch of people in here: Mike, Elder Rob, Creator for Fun, Brian Jones. We got a bunch of people, Rosalind West, Francisco West, where we're teaching different aspects of media ministry, not just technical. I think Elder Rob is teaching. Let's see. Let's go back over to the screen. Let's go back over here. And it is 4meconference.com. And yeah, we're right under 70 days. And where it's training for media ministries, not just technical, but the mindset. It's also about pastors and ministers to show that, like, I can teach all y'all all day. I'm looking at the wrong camera. I can teach y'all all day long on all these cameras and stuff like that, and technology and chat GPT to make new stuff. But if you got leadership in your church that's against it, it's going to be pointless. And the conference has evolved into not just a place to train you on technical, but it's also to train ministers and ministries on how to expand and realize this is a tool to help evangelize and to share and to cater and to minister to people in different avenues other than just Bible study and your worship service. Like I said, we do a lot of stuff, developing media ministries, ministry requirements, understanding the mindset of this. It's going to be 2 days. We have a total of 20 plus speakers. I think more are going to be on the way. Like I said, we got Monty is going to be teaching, Dominic's teaching presenter, Francisco, Rosalind was on here, Elder Rob, like I said, Brian, Mike, Creative for Fun, Hugh, Pastor Thompson, Bruce. I haven't seen him on here today. Fred, Janelle. This is Pastor at Antioch. He's going to be teaching Johnny from California. We got some more people that are coming on board as well too, waiting for their pictures in here, and still got plenty of room for more people that want to teach. It's them sharing how media ministry is, as in training them on the skills that they use, or teaching and sharing mindset. Like I can talk to y'all all day long. I'm not a pastor, but it's a difference when you got pastors talking about how they're using technology in their ministry, or another pastor talking about how they're using AI in Bible study and things like that. So it covers all of this. And again, for those who don't know, you can participate in the classes live or in person. If you're not able to attend all the classes, which you're not going to be able to because a lot of them are going on at the same time, after the session is over, you're able to watch the replay. 9 months after the conference is over, that is when I upload everything to YouTube. So you're able to see, everybody is able to see, so you're able to see, everybody is able to see everything that's going on. But that's kind of how like we do it. In person is $100. Online is $75. You got to pay for the licenses and all this other stuff like that. But I mean, that's what we got going on. We've had other people who've been to all three of them. It's been a blast. Hotel really awesome. And again, the hotels that we got, I mean, it's literally about maybe like 4 miles away from the church, and it's close to the airport and all this other stuff. But let me see. Let's do a last couple of things here. On an old video, I heard you say that every ministry account. Can you describe how you use it? Wait a minute. I heard you say that every ministry account. Castle Boogie, I don't understand. What am I missing? I don't understand the reference of that, but let me know. But while we're doing that, folks, I don't know if I hope I set this up right. I want to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. If you like what we do here, folks, again, this is self-funded by me and my company, and we don't have big sponsors. Well, haven't had any really sponsor that pays me or anything like that. But my company and all the stuff helps do what we do here, and the great people that are shown on here. And I hope, y'all can still hear me. So if you like what we do here, folks, you can always go to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO and become a Patreon supporter. Get started as low as $1.50 a month. That wasn't me. Patreon moved that up by 50 cents. Or you can click the join button down below to become a YouTube member. No matter which way you pick, folks, you are helping us train media ministries all over the world. And again, I could not have done this without great people like this that support me over the years. So again, thank you so much, and would love to y'all to be a part of it. We do some bonuses and all this other stuff that actually Patreon and YouTube members have a discount. I think it's 15 or some percentage off of the tickets for the conference. We try and do some other stuff like that to help as well too. Castle Boogie, you were saying, I heard you say that every media ministry account, are you talking about like an email account? If that's the case, what I highly recommend is the media ministry has one singular account, and all the passwords, everything is done in that account instead of it being done to a person, because I've seen it way too many times. Everything was done by one person. They get mad, they move on, they die, whatever, and they were the keepers of everything. And when they're gone, no one can get into their Facebook, their YouTube, no nothing. The idea is put it in the account. That way the account doesn't change. People can rotate in and out, but one person doesn't. So like I set up everything at Antioch under the media ministry account, and when I left, as much as people who didn't understand anything thought I kept everything. No, I didn't. Everything was always under the media ministry account. Yes, I still have access to it, but I don't have the keys to the kingdom. I'm not trying to hold any church hostage. So that way, no one person has it. And that includes, don't put it in the pastor's name. If the pastor leaves, you make it a generalized account, share that password. If you have a church vault or whatever, make multiple people, set the password, put that in a vault somewhere that anybody can get access to it. But then like at Antioch, when I set that stuff up, I did the same thing at Signs and Wonders. I did the same thing at Mount Bethel. We made an account, and then everybody shares the password to that one account. Anything that's media ministry related is done through that account, not through your personal. You set up a Facebook page, you set up a YouTube page, that is the owner of the page. And then you assign other people to be administrators. So the Antioch account was made for the Facebook and everything, but then I was added as an administrator, but I'm not overall. You do stuff like that. That's my personal opinion. Pastor Gary, how you doing, sir? Yeah, man, get your people down there, man. We're gonna be teaching some stuff there. I mean, Pastor Gary there at Abundant Life, they're around the corner. Want to do that. I made plans for a mission trip. Oh, that's when you're gonna be? So you're not gonna be able to be y'all doing a mission trip around the same time? But I mean, hey, send your people so that way they can drop some stuff. Do an animated version of you for your sermons, for your intros. All right, John. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all. Really highly recommend. And again, I'm telling y'all now, next year we're going to be doing another media ministry vacation. We did a cruise. We were supposed to do like a vacation this year, and stuff just didn't work out. But again, I want to have a dedicated time to where, like, as much as hard work that we do, that we have time to relax and, fellowship. I mean, when we had our cruise, our missionary cruise, like, we had dinner. We didn't have no meetings and stuff. It was just meant for us to relax. Now, and, I'd love it if I was knocking back $1 million a month in YouTube and sponsorships that I can just host and, cater to all y'all. I'd love to do that. That ain't me just being fancy and trying to flex. No. If I had the ability to do the stuff, that's what I would do. And I would love to do that. But be on the lookout. We are going to plan on doing something next year. Give y'all enough heads up so y'all can do that. Some people don't want to do cruises. I think we're going to try again to do just like a resort vacation to where we can just relax on a beach somewhere and things like that, and just fellowship, food and fellowship, and just relax thinking about that. But just want to know, I appreciate all y'all. Thank you for everything that you're doing. I appreciate the fact that, y'all come here and watch me. I really appreciate that. I hope that the time that you invested with me, I was an investment to y'all. It made y'all a little bit easier. For all the ones I asked, please make sure you send me an email. You probably are going to get an out-of-office message that don't turn off until I get back. But I will get back to that as best as possible. But keep it up, folks. Appreciate everything that y'all are doing. I couldn't do what I'm doing without you. I wouldn't want to do it without you. I will, but I don't want to. No matter where you're at, no matter what city, state, country you're in, everything that you're doing benefits me and everybody else on here because you're in the battle. We need you. Whatever you're doing, we need you for us to move the kingdom forward, not to move my one ministry forward or your one ministry. We need each other to move forward. We'd rather do it with you. We'll move forward without you, but we'd rather do it with you. So, again, it's not my mission to reach everybody. It's not your mission to reach everybody. It's for us to reach everybody. So I hope that helps. I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever y'all are, folks. Really appreciate it, and we'll be seeing y'all on the next video.